Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Mighty Web3 Career Series. And I'm Lydia, and I will be your host today. Thanks, everyone, for joining us first. And a little bit about myself. I've been spent the past 8 years working in marketing and strategy across agencies, media, TradeFi, and software companies. And I've also been actively involved in Web3 industry, keep learning and engage with the ecosystem. So, which makes me especially excited about today's conversation. So today we are honored to have Ronald Venegas with us. Ronald is currently the marketing lead at Billions Network and has previously worked with Disney, L'Oreal, Polygon Labs, and other global companies. So today we will talk about his career journey, what is it like to be as a marketing lead in Web3 company, and Billions' latest directions around AI payments and the agentic economy. Ronald, welcome.
Hello, hello. Thank you, Lydia Kay and Mikey Dow for having me. So excited to talk about marketing. So the thing that we love most and we are doing every day. So
Yeah.
really
So
looking to start this conversation.
Thank you. Let's move to the first sections. Could you introduce yourself and tell us a little about Billions Network and what do you do as a marketing lead at Billions?
Yes, certainly. I'm Ronald Venegas, so everyone's calling me Ron. I work as a marketing lead at Billions Network, the universal verification network built for humans and AI agents. Previously, Billions, I work in Privado. I mean, Privado and Billions are the same company, but I work at the Polygon, as you mentioned. And prior to Web3, I spent more than 10 years working for big global brands from the agency and consultancy and design studio side. Mostly I start, as a content creator, community manager, and then data analytics, strategy, leading teams. Pass through some tech startups. So and now I'm, in this amazing space. And my role at Billions is a mix of a lot of stuff. I would say probably my job stage, what our product and engineer teams are building, and turn that into something that the people, the market actually cares about through different marketing activation, and also used to lead positioning and new narrative for main product launches, some integrations and conversation with partners, depend of the nature of the partnerships. Also, I can lead to that. And this is a startup, so my role has changed. My first day at Polygon was, create a video. You know what I mean? It's like I'm not a video producer, so I use these capabilities, portable capabilities, to help the team wherever they need it the most. So my role is a mix of executor and strategies. So helping, of course, our CMO Alex Rosales, and when we defines, the new roadmaps also for the marketing department. So I would say, so I come to Web3 from this consumer side, that a lot of thinking a lot of about humans and emotion first, to a place where you lead with technology and latest advancement. So this was a kind of interesting challenge also to me to bring those knowledge and in space that breathe more technical. So I am the person that I would say sometimes translate those technical capabilities to simple headlines. I would like to call it like that.
I think that is a very precise explanations for the marketers, and thanks for sharing. You work like with a company like Disney or L'Oreal before, like such a top tier company before joining Web3. Then what makes you transfer from Web2 to Web3 industry?
Yes, I want to be honest here because I have been hearing a lot of news of people, OGs that come to the space because they read the Bitcoin paper, and etc. The typical history about how someone can join crypto or also as a retail investor. I mean, from my side, I was in a masterclass, so apologies to the OGs. I didn't wake up one day and decide, yes, let's pivot to Web3. So what I would say that brought me to Web3 was, as I said before, the portable skills, so operation, critical thinking, the habits of curiosity. I did also a master's degree in research for innovation here in Barcelona. I learned a lot of, trend analysis, research, lean startup, work on MVP, a lot of GTM, prior to Web3. So I think that those knowledge, tapables and portable knowledge, bring me or give me this differentiator that, and also, of course, I would say that I knew crypto. curiosity way. I got paid for a gig in BTC, in Bitcoin, back in 2017, a freelance. I did a freelance for a project and startups, and they called me. I say,
Mm-hmm.
hey man, are you able to receive this payment in BTC, in crypto? And I was like, okay, what is this? Oh no, this is yeah,
Mm.
crypto, Bitcoin. Okay, yes, let's do it. And
Oh, such an
it was
innovator.
yeah. I was let's do it. So I recall that they also sent me the card to use crypto as a as a normal credit
Mm-hmm.
card, and I did a typical mistake of using the whole BTCs as a fiat. So I had that history. But being realistic, what actually put me to here was a person. He's the current CMO, Alex.
Mm-hmm.
He and I worked together before. So he called me
Mm.
to join Polygon ID. So
Oh.
he told me, "Hey man, we are working here. I'm working here. We are building this. We have an amazing team of developers. Protocols developers. We have been building since
Mm-hmm.
2017. We are more of we are the CK most used library in the world. So we are tackling a new and a huge problem. Do you want to join?" And I was immediately, yes, please.
Mm-hmm.
I want to, I want to, I want to belong to that. So that was more or less the story behind and how I,
Oh.
landed
Mm-hmm.
here in Web3. So it's a kind of portable
Mm.
skills to be in the right place and to demonstrate your work in other places. So someone that now is in the Web3 space called me and invited me to join.
Mm.
So
Okay.
if you ask me how was those first months, when I joined to Polygon, they were
Mm-hmm.
definitely crazy. I spent I don't know
Mm.
how many hours, diving into the trenches in
Yeah.
the rabbit hole, going to crypto Twitter because I
Mm-hmm.
was using crypto, but in another account, not crypto Twitter. So diving into spaces, MAA. So it was an exciting, of course, time demanding first months, 1 year to get properly
Mm-hmm.
onboarded. So yeah, a lot of learnings since
Yeah,
then.
and it sounds like amazing because like someone call you and for the next day you join the most amazing projects in the
Yeah, that
world.
was a
Yeah.
privilege. Yeah, that was a privilege, but also,
Yeah.
give you this kind of because you all the time compare yourself with others that having here since
Mm-hmm.
more years than me, and you are like a feeling this kind of feeling like an imposter, right? Because when someone is asking, talking, oh yes, do you know what Jupiter did in the past with the airdrops? It's like, okay, I didn't know, so let me research and understand that, and also try the product because one thing that I always usually try to push myself is not just to read or hear but try it, right? So that gives me more understanding of how the industry works. So I was time to trying product wallets, and realize how complex. This is nothing new, of course.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
complex the experience was, in that
Mm-hmm.
moment. I mean, we are improving a lot, yeah, right? You can, mostly with 3 clicks, interact on chain, but this is that moment was still a thing. I mean, this is still a thing, UX, but that moment was, I would say, with more areas of improvement right now.
Mm. Yeah. Look back to that to that moments. It will
Hmm.
be like a very nice days and nice to have the kind of cool experience. And now let's talk about your day-to-day work. As a marketing lead,
Hmm.
what does a typical day look like for you?
Well,
And what do you spend most of your time on where?
yeah. I mean, again, I would say that these priorities have changed during the time, over the time, since I joined Polygon to Privado and then Billions. But we are in a startup, And a startup, there is not a typical day, but there is, I would say, a rhythm, a synergy, right? Because the spaces, the trends, so what is relevant change so quickly. So it's like you're
Yeah.
changing every day, every week you identify a new narrative that is building. So we start for company goals. We are a small team, even though we are a huge mission and vision, and of course goals. We are still a small team. So one of the
May
things
I
that
ask like how big is the team? Sorry for
yes,
interrupting.
now is we are 6 person in house.
Mm-hmm.
We also are
Okay.
being supporting for some strategic agencies in areas that we consider
Yeah,
are
yeah.
necessary, to delegate.
Yes.
But I would say that definitely or each campaign we start with, company goals. We don't want to fail in these vanity metrics and sometimes are used all day to sell it as an important metrics. But since that we need to show and iterate fast and demonstrate fast, our decisions are based on what is the real business goal behind this. So it's not from channels, it's not a surface level campaign KPI. I would say the first question is always what moves the business, or the company roadmap. So we work backwards into marketing about from that. A normal day is a mix, I would say, of reading the news, being up to date what is happening in product, or even from the tech side, and go to every team has their own source of knowledge. Of course, we have some sharing knowledge resources, but for us in this industry, it's key to be aware of the trends of the new, what is happening right now, because you are selling what is coming. So this is combining with, of course, this synchronization with BD, the BD guys, the BD team. We come from B2B, pretty B2B focus, and then with billions and consumer focus, and now we are again transitioning again to be more focused on developers and also in business.
Yep.
So these conversations with BD, or in events, real talk conversation to identify, okay, who is building, which projects are working around that can help us and bring more reach, recognition, and or we can identify mix of advantages that both can work together to have a bigger outcomes. So basically, our day to day is a mix of being aware of the news. Of course, we have the typical ceremonies. We have the one weekly marketing meeting, or we review
Yep.
what we are doing, etc. We have, of course, knowledge sources of truth, I would say, right? Combining and connecting with our tools. Now, of course, with AI, we are also iterating, experimenting about workflows, right? Automated workflows. So I would say collective intelligence workflows. That is what we are working right now in marketing, how we can put in one place everyone knowledge and iterate fast and have everyone inputs in one place, because now we are realizing that yes, when there is a conversation or a Slack channel thread about a specific feature or a new project, everyone come up with their own idea or their own AI research. So you feel like there is a lot of I would say pollution, but text to read. Everyone is sharing what is AI or your agent is saying. So hey, what if we compile of these things in one place, and instead of everyone's bringing each perspective, let's work together, based on everyone's input, but generating the same output. So we are now, working in that efficiency or proficiency of our day-to-day job, I would say.
Okay, thanks for sharing that. I want to circle back a little bit to the role as a marketing lead. Could I ask, what are the most important things you are responsible for, and what kind of decisions do you make the most often?
Yeah. I would say which channels, which activation, which levers we use in each campaigns in terms of execution. And also, I would like to work with the head of content, because we have a head of content writing Alex Weiss, which is amazing. But I work together with him pretty closely before a campaign to drive a brief and to define with him what is the headline, what is the most important value props that we want to show, right, or write on those announcements. And then, of course, being the guy that coordinates this with product. And now that we have a token out there, the legal department is another now a friend of us. So validate with legal, validate with the conference with product, define deadlines, timelines, sometimes budget. Sometimes the budget size more on the hands of the CMO, but I work close to him also, to help him to define, okay, how much, which, when. I'm transitioning from being a more executor guy with billions. When we launched billions in February 2025, we were a team of 3 in marketing. So we were handling everything, I was handling the brand identity rebound, but we handled content, we were handling, a lot of stuff, content production with video and graphic designers. So now I'm, taking more a leader role and delegating a bit more, but also building what the new workflow and how we measure what we are doing with the KPI that important the most, right? Here at the Billion. So I would say a mix of that, the strategic guy that when it's needed can put his hands on the work. But now I'm doing a lot of research since we are now diving into a new space. Part of my hours nowadays, I would say, spending a lot of time researching, trying new products, which is amazing, right? Have the opportunity to try it and learn. So this is, I would say, how my role is changing right now. And one of my main responsibilities here.
Yeah, I was going to say sounds amazing, but I have a lot of responsibilities.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. But now like Billions is a, I think is a like global and decent companies.
Hmm,
I believe like there are lots of the partners, agencies and media, maybe influencer you have to like manage around the world.
hmm.
Like how do you do that?
Yeah, that is an interesting question. Sometimes it looks easy to say that or the response, but the answer tend to be more complex because we are humans and coordinate humans. Sometimes it's a difficulty to solve that. We rely, so we start defining a RACI matrix. I don't know if you are aware of that,
Mm-hmm.
but responsible, accountable, consultant, and informed. So we define this RCI matrix for each of the marketing team members. So everyone is aware
Mm-hmm.
of which is your responsibility or which you're accountable for. So it gives you kind of
Mm.
independence in the way that you can work, but keep everyone aligned, right, in the same metric and goal, but mostly in the responsibility because you can define, KPIs, goals, or OKRs, but if everyone doesn't know which activities or activation they are responsible for, you can miss a lot of time and resources and of course money at the end of the day, right? So
Mm-hmm.
how we are now, as I said before, we are now changing, always changing, updating, of course, the way that we
Mm-hmm.
are doing synchronous because we are, as you said, a global team. We have team in Asia. We have some members in the US. We have members in Europe and also now and in India. Everyone in everywhere. So we work, of course, connecting the tools that we need. We work a lot with
Mm-hmm.
now with,
Mm-hmm.
of course, AI, right? And we are
Yeah.
connecting that with our typical, project management tools and the communication tools, but not just that, but the way that we are organizing and defining what is important and what can be automated and what needs human review. So we are connecting all these tools. I mean, I'm saying this because this is something new. I want to say what we are doing now and not what we did in the past. Because in the past probably
Mm-hmm.
was different. Last year, we organized a team, we defined RCI. Everyone has, kind of their own way to work. But now we are connecting
Mm-hmm.
everything in one place, in one single place. So has to keep everyone
Okay.
up to date because we see, I mean, in the past, we've seen some silos, and the latest news about product because, I don't know, the guy from Korea or, I don't know, India wasn't in the latest meeting or wasn't reading,
Yeah.
the last Slack
Mm-hmm.
notification. So it was some discrepancies in everyone's knowledge or information about one launch. So we are
Yeah.
now, connecting that in one single place so I would say we have to call it source of truth
Okay.
to work more or less aligned, right? And of course, we define KPIs, so important KPIs, so
Mm-hmm.
KPIs that impact the most the business. We define when we launch Billion that users were the most important KPI, right? So on board using to test the product and iterate fast and get insights from them and evolve the product, right? And more or less the back and forth that you have when you are launching a product in a pre-market fit. But now, since of course these agentic workflows, we are updating our way of working also.
Okay. Oh, thanks for sharing. I would like to dive in a little bit.
Hmm.
Since like you manage like so many people all around the world and how you manage their emotions, especially negative emotions,
Mm.
and they are all from like different country, different cultural.
Yeah.
How you manage this?
I mean, this is hard because we base our assumptions. Yes, we base our assumptions, our belief in our culture, right? When we were raised, so who is our context, our environment, our friends. So as you said, managing a global team is complex because everyone has their own background. But we know that
Yeah.
simplify thing in a way that everyone can connect is key here. So it's key. It's key from the top, from the CMO and the founders. But I would say that the CMO Alex Rosales did an amazing job to make
Mm-hmm.
everything more clear and align the whole thing. And for that, we this weekly
Mm-hmm.
marketing alignment meetings to say, hey guys, everyone is here. This is why we are working right now. This is the new roadmap. This is the focus. Simple messages, clear um, next steps. I don't know. I start
Mm-hmm.
doing a
Tell
lot
them
of
the vision.
yeah, the vision. This is clear, and sometimes it looks repetitive, but you need to repeat that in every meeting. So we have like this is the big picture. This is the slide that we also consult to see if what we are doing is aligned or not
Mm-hmm.
with this. So we have this culture of hey, before
Yeah.
do something. Please review our roadmap, our KPIs,
Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
validate if this is connected to align or not. Because in Web3, I mean, I'm saying Web3, we are talking right now inside the industry. It's pretty typical that everyone is looking for the same, right? Launch a product and
Yeah.
grow and etc. So everyone is open to a collaboration, a partnership. But sometimes, some partnerships, some announcements, some collaboration have not although can bring you the value that you are looking, but it's instead you spend time, of course, in this connection, in this partnership, because you need to do a lot of meeting prior in alignment,
Mm.
etc.
Yeah.
So even my work, our work, not just in marketing, I would say also in product, is to learn how to say no to an idea, or sometimes that could looks like it is interesting, but if you or we look into the roots of our uh, goals, well, this potential whatever
Yeah.
activation is not fruitful for us. So
Mm.
we were pretty aligned in
Yeah.
those goals, and yeah. I mean, at the beginning, I would say we fail sometimes. We spend a lot of time doing, I don't know, the some of the lessons that I have learned, right? In this front
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
we learned with Privado, with Polygon, we grow a lot of ecosystem, a lot of logos, and etc. But then some or people that are used to do that every time was like, okay, man, this is not bringing us any value. This is a typical logo per
Yeah.
logo that is not so. Learn to how to say no to those opportunities is, is another learning.
That's a great point. That's a
Yes,
great
yes,
point.
yes, yes. I mean, we're a small team. We
Yeah.
don't have this, I would say, benefit or yeah, opportunity to spend a lot of time in something that is not really valuable for us. So I would say that this is more of what we define the marketing team at Billions,
Yeah.
trying to be efficient and effective with the resources that we have, and if not, well, it's better to say no next time. And of course,
Yeah.
I mean, we are all at the end, or on the other hand, we are experimenting. Everyone is
Yeah.
experimenting here. You don't have other responses, but you work in a roadmap, in a KPI, and also in a feeling that you are
Yeah.
doing has this potential. So it's like how we align everyone in this same mission, as ambition. Okay, being clear in the
Yeah.
communication. I would say that is
Mm. Yeah, I think like roadmap and vision is as important as
key.
well. Important
Yeah.
as well. Yeah, it's a
Mm,
key. So let's talk about the billions and its latest directions about the
mm,
roadmap, because we all know billions recently announced a new roadmap focused
mm,
on AI pigments and the
mm.
agentic economy.
Yeah.
What made the team decide to change the roadmap, and why focus on payments first instead of reputation?
Yeah, yes, for sure. I mean, let me give you just a bit of background, because probably can give a
Hmm.
better understanding. I mean, Video has a project was launching February 2025, but the team behind
Oh.
has been here. Yes, I mean 1 year, 3 months ago, but the team behind has
Hmm.
been here building since 2017 when we launched the Identity protocol. That was an identity
Hmm.
protocol based on CK technology, and with Identity we built the Circon libraries, a CK library that today is one of the most used CK libraries in the world. We started building and contributing a lot in the space, in the CK space. At the moment, the founders that launched Identity at the Silicon Protocol realized for the technology to scale, they need to scale. Ethereum needs to scale, so they start developing the CK machinery, the CK VN for Identity, and then they joined Polygon, or Polygon acquired Identity project. And with the project also, the identity project, I mean, they acquired the CK project, but with the CK project, we also brought the identity project, and we start developing that identity project inside Polygon. And at that moment that we call it Polygon ID. When Polygon ID was same technology behind, the same infrastructure, using CK technology to, resolve the privacy problem, right? Identity problem in humans.
Yeah.
And we, onboard a lot of partnerships because we were, part of Polygon, and then that gave a lot of reputation, opened the doors to a lot of partnerships. But then we realized that when we billions, what we are looking for, or the problem that we face with Privado is, hey, we don't have enough verifiers asking for this identity from user. We
Hmm.
have a lot of issuers, providers, issuer credentials, but no, no services, no application asking for those credentials. So we decided to launch our own product and go to capture those users. So
Hmm.
billions, born since that, and with billions, when we launched billion, we were pretty clear. We were clear that we were looking just to solve the identity problem for humans, because we were looking and seeing the thing that will start happening in the agentic side. And
Yeah.
when we launched Billion, we said, hey, we are the human and AI network because we are tackling both, right? Humans and machines. So to solve the identity problem, to give humans and machines an identity, an identifier, and then they can act, with some trust on chain and online. And when we launched Billions, we also launched the Deep Trust technical white paper that define a framework to
Mm-hmm.
give agents an identity and accountability. And when we launched Billions, we launched this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was an interesting take. We also, with the Deep Trust, launched the KYA. It's like the Know Your Agent,
Yeah.
take from Know Your
Yeah.
Customer. So how we identify
Yeah.
agents and make them trustable so they can act, buy, transact, trade, whatever they need to complete tasks they need to complete on chain. So, and with that, our roadmap was pretty clear. Let's create the human AI network. Let's identify, humans and machines to differentiate between them. And
Yes.
then the second layer was the reputation layer, how we connect humans with agents, so agents can be or can get the accountability from the human, right? Because agents at the end of the
Yeah.
day are codes that are mutable, they change in every session. So the only way to trust them, I mean, there is several ways, but one of them is, to bring the human accountability and reputation, right? Behind the human that is acting behind the agent. And then the trust economy was the last step in the roadmap. Is enabling identity with rich and multiple source of data. So when we were first seeing the potential of the agent economy since we launched the
Mm-hmm.
Desktop paper was, hey, this is pretty good, but this is still so new. So let's put the focus on the thing that we can solve now, humans, identify humans, and then start developing the thing about
Mm-hmm.
around agents. We start talking about know your agent, do some demos, demonstrate the capabilities, of the technology. Also, we launch an skill, for open cloud, and then for every model, every CLA that can give your agent an identity, and so the agent can act on behalf of you, and etc. But
Mm.
yeah, but we realized that reputation, basically, because we were talking, yes, identity and next reputation, but we realized that reputation has six signals. So we look at what reputation is actually made of today, and we realize
Yeah.
that it's weak. You see stars, you see some reviews, set of the station. I would say agentic basically saying, hey, bro, trust me, I'm a good agent, but none of those, and it's a real proof because you can fake reviews, you can fake stars, you can fake feedback. You
Yeah.
are seeing that when you look at
Yeah.
if you look at the 8004 scan protocol, you can see a lot of feedback that doesn't have anything behind
Mm-hmm.
of that.
Yeah. 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 Everything
So
can fake. Yeah.
exactly. So the only agents that with real reputation, from our perspective, are the one that can show that they get a job done. And a way to think of an agent in a prediction market, for example. If it wins more than it loses, that's not a review, right? That's a track record you can
Mm.
verify because it's trusted. You can verify that transaction, for example, because the bets are right there. That's a strong signal, not a weak signal. So, and that with that strong signal is when we come from the real economic activity. So we flip the order. Instead of trying to manufacture a reputation,
Mm.
we are building the race, right, for agents to do
Yeah.
real
Mm-hmm.
commerce. Because we are talking agentic economy, agentic payments protocol, of course, all the effort of the R042 protocol from Coinbase. And then now we are seeing Visa, MasterCard launching their own
Yeah.
payment protocol, which is good because in the case of Visa or MasterCard, this is an interesting point because when agents can buy based on a card, right, a credit card, I would say,
Yeah.
the accountability reputation is within that transaction because you can verify that if an agent has a card behind, it's because that card was issued for a global, brand as Visa
Mm.
and Mastercard, and that means that also that a human is behind that card. So in that side, I would say identity and reputation is more or less kind of solved because you can rely on that. Okay, this is agency is acting on behalf of a well-known brand or infrastructure or ecosystem. But in stable coins, when we are R042 protocol, you don't need, have a way to identify identity behind of the agent. So we flip that. So basically, we say that reputation don't follow. So that is a byproduct. Reputation is not now the goal; it's a byproduct. So you don't ask an agent for
Mm-hmm.
references. You look at what it actually did and whether it worked 99 times out of 100, for example. And payment are the beginning, are the start of that, right? We already got payment
Mm-hmm.
working, but commerce, this
Yeah.
is the next stage. This is it's bigger than payments.
Yeah.
It needs identity,
Yeah.
it needs authorization, you need age, you need a shipping address, you need resources, compliance. So the way we saw is your agent can think, of course, but it can buy you a beer. So we did that analogy in the announcement. So not right now, he can't. So that is what we build reputation worth trusting instead of one you can just buy, or I don't know, or fake. So
Yeah,
make
yeah,
those agents accountable to finally act and unlock this huge potential, right? In the agentic commerce, as we are trying to build, we are trying to add, that layer of also compliance. Because if you know that your agent is acting behind a real and unique human, well, this is a different signal that just a code, right, that have an identifier can be fake or
hmm
change in every session.
yeah, 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 yeah. Thanks for
So
sharing that.
no, thanks for asking.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's a very like ambitious but amazing goals for billions, right?
Definitely.
Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. But let's talk about like how to marketing this product. What is the most difficult part about marketing like AI or Web3 product? It's like education, or it is trust, or find the right audience for you guys.
Yeah, well, it's a mix of a lot of things, right? It's because you see this fight between AI, crypto, how to
Yeah.
market, how to sell this, and I think that when you think in AI and Web3, AI needs Web3 when you need trustable, data or verification without an intermediary, someone in the middle.
Yeah.
So right now that we are watching AI agents, stablecoins, tokenized, programmable financial workflows, they are converging. For me, like this challenge in how to market this is how you can reduce the trend, the hype,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we have all the news that you are reading every day because now they're pretty focused on selling the news. Of course, selling something that is not really needs sometimes, and the product cycle, I would say, has shifted a lot in terms of how you execute and how you tell the story and how the timing also. So building fast is not anything a differentiation right now. So it's like a,
Mm-hmm.
a commodity. So now it's not
Yeah.
just okay, I can say or pull that campaign outside. It's like how you pull the campaign outside because everyone is selling more or less a story. I am really tired of go to CT or LinkedIn or the social media platform. Also,
Yeah.
some newsletters, and it's hard to keep on track of a lot of news. So what we are doing also myself is a step back and start reading the fundamentals without going failing to the hype, right? So what is happening in the back? And you realize that a lot of course hype because it's interesting to sell the hype. But then when you realize the nature behind, you see, okay, the things are more or less the same. You need to be pretty concise, attractive in the way you sell and communicate this product. So if you build a product that people really want, the best launches I have seen lately is the product that really fit with someone needs, right? When some market needs. And no matter the technology that is behind, basically that what we're
Mm-hmm.
selling is the solution, right? Or the thing that you can get done with that product. So I think that no matter if it's Web3 or crypto, the focus when you launch a product is to think that what you need to, or what the product is really bringing to your user and lead with that, right? Because it's pretty easy to fall in the trends and also in the jargon, but sometimes everyone is saying the same. It's hard to
Yeah.
differentiate. So now it's a mix of being aware of the complete ecosystem, how it's been building, have this kind of criteria. Sometimes I would want to call it taste, but it's not taste. I would say it's a mix of knowledge to identify which is what is important, what is not, and how you can dive into a new market that is not still defined. It's hard to define what is the trend, what is where we are going. But at least if you are paying attention to this, it's what is important. You can more or less see some patterns that are the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
Human
Yeah.
emotion, right? People looking for to
Yeah.
solve a problem quickly. Sometimes a lot of feelings around buying or not a thing. People talking about agentic workflows, but just a few are really using it or taking, real value from that.
Yeah. 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 Thanks for sharing that. Speaking of the important things, I would like to know what marketing metrics do you care about the most?
Mhm.
Because you're talking about the communities, talking about the products, then
Hmm.
which metrics you care about the most?
Yeah, I mean, here in Peter, we talk about specific about billions because, of course, this could be completely different in a SaaS company or mass consumer brand, of course. But the marketing of the KPI, we are not a high performance or attribution obsessive marketing team where everything is tracked, to the last
Mm-hmm.
click or attribution. And, as I said, we're in a startup, so the resources, the process, and the time aren't there. Not are there, for that. We don't have the time to sometimes work in a way that in other projects work. So we define those KPIs based on the nature of the product and mixed with the company goals. For example, when we were working with Polygon, one of the main KPIs was onboard issuers and verifiers to the ecosystem that
Okay.
use our technology. So BD was a strong focus produce marketing collaterals for funders, BD, define the narrative, keep our documentation pretty polished, organized, connected with what we're saying on social, coordinate with CPO and product leads to have the best insights in a way that, because with Polygon, the product was pretty technical and the focus, the target was a mix of developer, but also institutional. So we were working in the middle of, okay, for developers, let's talk like that and let's do this kind
Yeah.
of efforts, right? Let's do to,
Yeah.
IRL, let's use, I don't know, Telegram to communicate with them because we are pretty comfortable using Telegram and not, I don't know, Discord in a way that some community, Web3 community, participate in
Yeah.
Discord. So in that moment, our KPI was, very focused on board, right? Long processes, the time frames were different. And then with Pavilions was, let's grow our user base. So
Oh,
the
okay.
communication was different, right? The focus was different. The channels were different. So we launched Discord. We, grew a lot. And that's in those times. People resonate with the narrative, with the brand, with the way that we were communicating, right? We realized a lot, of course, in that moment in the, I would say, crypto playbook to talk with those communities. So we went to Twitter, started growing our account. LinkedIn with Billion was secondary. So all our focus was in create this community in those channels. So we identified that main KPI was grow user, but secondaries, KPIs and metrics were okay. How we are growing on X, how we are growing on community, because that was a reflection of our effort, in terms of, because sometimes you can measure what can make measure immediately, user
Yeah.
acquisition or lead, but then you have this another topic that is brand perception, awareness, sentiment around the brand. So those were secondary KPIs, but we were looking at those because was the complementary reflections of our efforts in marketing. So even that the would say, okay, probably. We can do better in terms of how we can produce more engagement on CT, right? But that can
Yeah.
bring us more users. Not sure. So let's put focus more on the product. How we can do some hacking tests inside the product, and we realized when we did those experiments, the results were better. So improve the product and hack, apply some hacking inside the product. Sometimes give us more user growth. But in terms of
Yeah.
sentiment or mindshare, of course, we relied on social, especially on X and Discord, to
Yeah.
achieve those. But as a result and outcome of the main effort that was put our focus on how can make the product better and onboard more user.
Yeah.
Uh, so yes, we didn't run this kind of high performance KPI base.
Yeah.
Instead,
Yeah.
we are
Yeah.
more focused on company goals because we are,
Mm.
in this role of pre-market fit yet. So the way you do marketing is more experimental and more open to change everything in
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
month.
Got it. Got it.
Hmm.
Very, very, I think very solid and comprehensive. Thanks for sharing that. So, I want to talking about the marketing during the company change the directions, and how do you explain that change to users and the markets? Especially, I think like recently, I saw many like intense or I would say like crazy discussions and comments on Twitters about billions.
Mhm.
How do you explain that to your audience or the markets?
Yeah, so we are facing now a huge challenge. Since you change the roadmap, that means that you change everything else. Of course, in
Mm-hmm.
marketing, we're trying to support for every company decision. So when the CPO or founder was taking, hey guys, probably because at the end of the day you are iterating and trying, and what we realize is okay, the identity problem for humans is something that is huge and so complex and relies in a lot of layers and participants, and not just the technology. So you realize in government policies, you realize in regions and data governance, you realize in interoperability. It's a thing that is or has a harder,
Yeah.
barriers. So yeah, definitely. So we decided, okay, let's put the focus in everything and the thing that we are seeing that can bring most value and revenue. So
Yeah.
we are changing from create expectations, right, and build and
Mm-hmm.
test a new product, and to actually build a product that people want to pay for. So how we are explaining that, we are learning also. I would say that the thing is to be pretty clear, and when you want to be pretty clear and change everything, the result of that is some activations, some priorities that were priority in the past, they are not priority anymore.
Mm. Yeah.
So we are building this thing. Okay, let's communicate thing. We are failing or we are missing some stuff, but with some stuff that we are missing are not important anymore for our future goals. They were important in the past, but now they are not important anymore. So taking the decision of what you have left, in the
Yeah.
from your marketing and what you choose to start or continuous building is
Yep.
something that we are doing right now. So I'm now in the middle of the process of researching to really understand the problem of the AI infrastructure behind the payments and commerce because it's something really new. We are pretty clear that
Yeah.
we have the technology, we have the capabilities, we have the team, we have the vision, but at the end of the day, we are iterating and we are experimenting. So the way that we are telling this story is, hey, we are changing our roadmap, and that means some sacrifices also in the way that you are doing, on the way you used to do things in the past, in the way that you build community in the past, in the way you communicate in the past. So we are changing also the focus to be now again, because again, more developer, AI developer focus. Uh, and that is a new paradigm, a new category for us. So we believe that the best way to show that you are changing is show your product, show that you are building. So but we are working harder every day right now in the back to bring those to the market and demonstrate that we are saying in this article and the video that Sebastian made is something tangible. So the
Yeah.
big chief is that it's not just in the narrative, in the channels, in the way that you communicate with others. It's also in the way that you market and also tell the story to this new audience that which is the AI builders. There is online, blurry between builders, developers, AI enthusiasts, because you can be now more or less a developer with some knowledge. So yeah, we are in this paradigm shift and preparing the next launches campaign.
Yeah.
Pretty excited about
Yeah.
that because we have been learning a
Mm-hmm.
lot. So yes,
Mm-hmm.
pretty excited to look.
Yes. Yeah, I'm also excited about this, and I think it is like challenges, but it will all pay off.
Yeah.
Before we end of these discussions, I would like to end up with the more personal questions about yourself.
Mm,
hmm Like from a marketing lead perspective, what is the difference between a good marketers and a good marketing leader? I I
mm.
know, I know, I know. I know you already said like say no sometimes.
Yeah.
And what else do you think? Like, what's the difference between the marketers and marketing leader?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just pretty easy. An executor make the things and make it. I mean, ideally make it well, right? Makes the things done, and a leader decide which
Yeah.
things are even worth making. Say no to the
Yeah.
rest, as I said before. So for me, an executor optimize formats, optimize content, optimize the latest details in a campaign.
Yeah.
And basically, the leader is who asks whether the channel should be in our plan at all or not, right? So
Yeah.
it's this jump because it's also I'm experimenting right now. This jump between be less executor and now more, leading with my proposals. So it's this
hmm
jump from how do this well, right, to should we do this at all, on why we are giving up
Yeah.
by doing this, every day. So every day is this challenging to be facing for an idea or an opportunity that will hopefully everyone else bring to the table because we are a team, right? Everyone has more or less this ownership or this opportunity to bring ideas. So
Yeah.
for me, as a leader, is and also it's like how you coach others, right? Because your knowledge, the newcomers, the new teams, and it's like how you
Yeah.
make them better, finishing the
Like
completing
put
their
the right
tasks.
people to the right position.
Yeah,
Is
exactly. And so you have these responsibilities that we are saying to those or your colleagues, when you are supervising or coordinating. It's right, and
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
fitting with the goals,
Totally
and
agree.
it's also reasonable and comprehensible because, as you said at the beginning, we are working with a different background, different cultures, and everywhere in the world. So you have an additional layer of to be comprehensive enough to communicate, your intentions, I would say.
Thanks for sharing. It's really nice to like talking to you. I think we're gonna run out of the time. So before we wrap up, I would like to open the floor to the audience. If anyone has questions for Ronald, feel free to ask. If anyone want to ask.
Not, my DMs are always open. Don't be shy. Send whatever question. I will check if I can help.
Oh, this is Joanne, and I have a question. In a fast-moving space like Web3, would you like to share a marketing experiment that failed and what you learned from it?
I mean, I have a lot of those. Let me pick when we launched the new brand of Billions, and so it was August 2025 last year. So because we were pretty focused on Web3 and crypto Twitter. We know more or less how the narrative and the people get hype. And with the launch of the new brand, we created a campaign that was called Being Verified is a New Superpower. We were connecting the idea of being verified privately from your phone with a kind of superpower, right? Because if you are verified, you are protected privately on the internet, etc. So taking also the Billions logo, which looks when you when it's like that, it's like a mask. We take the cultural code to be a superpower and connecting that with one single campaign, and we create I don't know, a site. No, sorry, a member from the community create a site quickly. He told me, "Hey, Ron, this idea is amazing. I want to build a site to allows everyone to create an avatar using the mask, the Billions logo." That was created in one day. We were trending on Billions. We were number one on Kaito at that moment. Everyone was using the mask. Was trend for 2 3 days, and we decided that in one day.
Mm,
Pretty quickly. Hey,
mm,
this is right. This feels right. This has a lot of potential. It was a mix between being in the right moment and have this, of course, experience, identify more or less how trends are being built on X. And that is an example. And like that, we have a lot of those. Hey, let's do a
uh,
campaign that, in one day to, I don't know. That moment was we are playing a lot with Discord, raffles and
uh,
etc. So, on Spaces also, hey, let's do a campaign within Spaces when, if you ask some question to the community, you can bring some beta access. So, you know, ideas are unlimited and experiments. We have a lot of those. But yeah, one thing that I can say is you need to be act quickly. But before
mm,
acting, just to adding you in a trend,
mm,
validate first if your product and your project fits in that trend.
mm. Okay, thank you for your sharing.
Anytime.
Is there anyone have other questions?
Hello. Hello,
Hello.
I'm Jackie. Hello. Yeah, so I'm wondering that many Web2 marketers want to pivot to Web3, but like crypto experience. So how should they package their Web2 skills to catch the eye of a Web3 hiring managers?
I think that when I joined Web3, it was this kind of myth of you need to work in Web3, you need to know the space to join Web3 because on the job description they were asking for prior experience in the space,
Yeah.
and I was more or less looking at what that is. I don't know still. I don't know how the market is not right now. It's not the same as before, but I realized that everyone was asking for crypto prior experience, and when I jumped here, okay, guys, you need to be aware of the trenches, of the codes, of course, of the projects, of the ecosystem, but the nature of how you do marketing are the same. Probably how you tackle
Mm,
it or how you execute some needs some kind of Web3 knowledge because the code, the language, the jargon, you need to use it. But the way to execute, for me, was probably one of the income main skills that probably my CMO saw on me. He saw a guy that, hey, this guy can execute well. This guy knows about big brand and global activation. This guy know how to speak with normal audiences and how to translate complex concept in headlines, as I call it before. And you need to be pretty curious because it's true that Web3 is special. So I don't know, I can't recall the source right now, but I was reading that the 1 year, the first year in Web3 was a kind of the most harder for newcomers. And a lot of people used to leave the project 1 year. So those that can surpass or pass the 1 year are those that, are still here, are keeping in the Web3 because it was kind of, man, I don't understand the jargon of crypto Twitter. So you need to dive into the trenches,
Yeah.
start talking with people, start joining spaces. For me, the thing is not just create a nice CV, start talking with people.
mm,
We on board on Billions, if I'm not wrong, 5 or 4 people from the community because they were show off. They was amazing creating content. They were amazing at speaking, in front of the camera, some creators, some beta testers realize of that and say, hey, these guys are showing up and they're pretty good, let's hire it.
Yeah.
So showing up every day, talk with people, join, events, spaces as one of the best things to, if you are looking to join the Web3 space, you don't have any experience before. Uh, because that was more or less that I did. Once I received the call, it was like, man, I know that yes, I received the call, but I need to learn. So it was 1 year, more or less not sleeping, just reading and talking and learning. So you need to be pretty ambitious in this space because it's changing pretty fast and demands to be up to date on the trends.
Okay. Thank you for your sharing.
Okay. Ronald, maybe call me like tomorrow and ask me to we would like to join the Billions team.
Okay, you need to show up.
Yeah, I will.
Nice,
Okay.
nice.
Is there anyone have questions for Ronald? The last one, questions?
Yes, it's me. My name is Kelly. Good evening, Ronald. I would like to know about is most of your role have been fully remote since Web3 team are highly distributed. How do you overcome time zone challenge and stay aligned with your team?
Yes, we relies a lot on the tools that can, help us to be aligned or to keep everyone aligned. The communication tool, the project management tool, the I don't know what else, and the meetings. The ceremonies, weekly meetings, in a time that everyone can join. But we don't work for. You need to be here from 9 to 6. We are a global company. That means that we are flexible, right? So if you are in Shanghai and I'm in Barcelona and the other is in I don't know the US, in New York, we work in knowing that. So keeping meetings when everyone can join, give everyone responsibilities, clear responsibilities, so they can take the work to your house, to wherever you are. You don't need to be synced. So you can work as sync and deliver those through the tools that we are using. So not just define goals and ceremonies but define the tools, the right tool that keep everyone connected in the same world, and even that we are in different time zones. But again, this is a challenge. So this is something that you can define, but you need to follow it up and make sure that everyone is in the same line. But yes, tools, keep our goals, and communication.
Thank you for sharing your experience and bring a lot of results.
Yes. Well, you have a second question? I didn't got you.
I think she finished the questions.
Okay.
And I think there is one more questions from Miss S. Sober.
Hello. Hi, Ron. Thanks for your sharing. And I know, as we know, Web3 is Day One Global. And I'm very curious about what's the localization strategy for Billions Network. So could you share what's your current priority markets for this year and why? Yeah, and also if you can share some success story about user onboarding or activation, that would be good. Thank you.
Let me repeat myself. I got you well. You are asking about localization efforts and how we are onboarding users, right?
Yes.
Okay. Localization. We have core markets defined, right? So those are the markets that say, hey, those markets are priority for us because the type of user that they are, but the value that they can bring. So we usually have the kind of playbook on how we localize, but we have all the sources or touch points that we have with users. Let's say website, landing pages, application, I don't know, inside messages. Those are translating to the original language for the region, and for the specific the main countries, we have a country manager or marketing lead there. For example, in Korea or in China, right? We have someone in place that is our consultant to validate that we are saying is culturally right and aligned, because we can rely on AI, but at the end of the day there is a lot of things behind, and how of course depend of how important the market is or the region is. We have some kind of providers, right? For example, in activation, we have an agency that can do an activation, or I don't know, PR. We have a global PR company, but sometimes you need a local PR company because the nature of the country. So we hire a specific PR company for one campaign, or one single shot. And how we onboard user is a question that I have to changing depending on the project. But let's talk about Billions. The way that we onboard users was, creating this community and motivate them to participate in the product. A lot of campaigns, PowerPoints that give us a lot of user growth. a lot of another dynamics on discords, but the way that for billions, because for billions we know that the product was something that we were trying to validate. For Privado was different. The Privado or Polygon ID was different. The onboarding. The onboarding was a longer process, and that relies a lot in the content, in the conversation that we have in meetings with builders and potential partners. So in that moment, the focus was trying to explain the value easy, quickly, in a then or in the best material, marketing material that we have. That could be a demo, that could be a deck, that could be in spaces also, or a webinar. We did a lot of those in the past, educating about identity, decentralized identity, and etc. But most focus on developers in that moment. So yeah, depending on the project, but we have changed the way that we onboard users.
Okay, great. It's very practical and concrete. Thank you very much.
Thank you too.
Okay, I think that it's for today's sessions because of the time. If you still have any questions, feel free to drop them in the Mighty DAO community, and we will love to hear what topics you would like us to cover, and maybe we can do follow-up sessions in the future. And also, this session will also be updated to YouTube later. So if you like to revisit the conversation or share it with your friends, feel free to check it out there. So again, thank you so much, Ronald, and the teams from Billions for joining us today. And I also learned a lot from this conversation. And also thank you everyone for joining us. And we will see at the next Mighty DAO's Web3 Career Series. And have a great day or have a great night, everyone from all over the world.
Thank you, Lydia, Kai, and the
Thank
Mighty
you.
DAO team.
Thank you.
See you on chain. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
See you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.